almost. I guess that's still in the air if that's actually what happened. But she's about to leave Westworld and then all of a sudden gets up, goes back inside.
Yeah. That whole thing was weird. We have some feedback on that as well.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So let's get into the recap then. It's due time for that. We've wasted enough time. I will waste a little more time saying that this episode was written by Jonathan and Lisa Joy Nolan and directed by Jonathan Nolan. We've already talked about them. We don't have to go into depth with them. We know they brought out the big guns for this episode. So we open on Dolores being made by Arnold. She does this, I am in a dream. I do not know when it began or whose dream it was. I know only that I slept a long time, and one day I awoke. Your voice is the first thing I remember. And that she finally understands what Arnold was trying to tell her, and that thing that he's wanted since the very first day. It's a little vague. We find out at the end of the episode what all that is. She repeats herself. Arnold welcomes her into the world. Did you notice at all that Arnold had a deeper voice than Bernard?
Yeah, I did notice that, actually.
Yeah, so he kind of made a distinction between his two characters. Just for our sake, I guess. So maybe the people who said last episode that it was Arnold's voice instead of Bernard's, they weren't so crazy, because I was under the assumption it would be the same voice. But I don't know. That's something, how does, it's probably not that remarkable how it's done, but how would Ford mimic a person's voice? How would he
they already have that technology out now to mimic somebody's voice.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. I did hear about that a bit. So I'll allow it. Did you like her creepy robot body?
Yeah,
she
very
just
cool.
Had
yeah.
I had like the way she moved.
She had like her face on, and then he molded her chest onto her, and then it was just her hands.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of Ex Machina.
Okay. Yeah, I never saw it, but
yeah,
still the way the body was. I'd like to see more robots walking around with just their skeletal frame and a human head.
They seem so much more daunting like that, so much more indestructible.
Yeah, it's weird. They seem stronger with less to them, even though we assume this is at the core of all of them, or at least her back then. Do you think they were stronger originally with their metal frames?
I think so, yeah. They must have been, right?
I don't know. Dolores
I wonder if they're able to turn off their pain receptors, though.
Threshold.
Yeah, or put up their pain threshold so that they're able to do more. Like just turn that part of their brain or quote unquote brain off,
I don't know why they haven't already done it. It seems like one of Maeve's first orders of business should have been to do that. We saw she didn't do it to she didn't do it to Armistice.
Yeah.
She lost her arm. And she looked like it hurt her, so she
yeah.
shut off that threshold a little bit for her. Dolores' mind travels to the present where she is mid-shave on the Man in Black in town. I'm going to keep calling him the Man in Black until he becomes William.
Okay.
And even then I might have trouble. Is it not a strange thing to do for the Man in Black when he's so close to being where he wants to be? Just sit down and get shaved?
Maybe he just wants to take in the moment,
Was it a power move?
Maybe.
To have Dolores shave him? It didn't even look like he had that much stubble. But shaving with a knife, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know the pain, but shaving with a knife with the resources they have are probably not the best.
Right, yeah.
But I don't...
what was the point of that scene, really? To show that he... Well, maybe he knows she can't really do anything to him, even with a knife to his throat. Okay,
so like a power move then.
Yeah.
So that's
it's
how
a Negan move.
Yeah. So that's how the scene ended. Last episode was he walks into the church, he freaks out, and then what we didn't see is like, I need a shave, and that's where we pick up. Man in Black says they're almost at the center of the maze. And that it's fitting that it's her who takes him there. She's always been obsessed with this place, and that she even took him there once when it was buried under the sand. So, that's, It's just, I'm not going to point out all the little obvious moments. Well, I guess I am, because that was it. But these are all little hints right away for people like my aunt who didn't know. Her mind flashes back to before the park opened, and she sees Arnold in the distance. And in the present, she walks out towards where he was standing, and Man in Black follows. There's a whole lot of this, her mind going back and forth from different places.
Yeah.
Do you think, now that the season is over, there's going to be any more time jumping or any more different time periods, or is it just going to be a solid timeline?
I hope it's solid from here on out. It was a little bit confusing.
Yeah, it was interesting, and I'm looking forward to rewatching the series to maybe figure out all these little details that I missed. But yeah, I don't know what.
And
more
we've
they
already
could do.
explored the mystery of Arnold, and it seems like that's been covered now in this season. So I don't know why else they'd have to go back in time and do jumps and everything.
Yeah,
Anyway,
maybe they can go
we'll
into
see.
the future.
Ooh, yeah.
William, now we catch up with him. He's looking for Dolores. They're also dragging Logan behind him. William recruits Elazo and is meant to help. So he is a Lazo here. It's not Lawrence.
Right.
Okay, so they recruit him to help.
Yes.
Any thoughts? I don't know what you'd have to say. It was a very short scene.
No thoughts about that.
It's okay.
He seems very willing to help for some reason. I don't know why.
Well,
Like, what's in it for him? He seems like an opportunist.
I guess so, but he's still a host. Like, he hasn't reached any sentience, right? He's there to help the storylines of the host, of the guests, as far as I'm thinking.
So when William sent Logan off with his hands tied behind his back.
Oh, we're not there
sunset.
yet. We're far from there.
I know. Okay, never mind.
Well, okay, now talk about it now. You know, if we're jumping around
No,
in
it's
time,
okay.
you may as well talk about it now before you forget.
Yeah, before I forget.
Yeah.
Is he sending him off to his death? Was that implied?
It was a whole mess. Well, he said that the father's going to need somebody more stable.
Yeah.
So it's either sending him off to look crazy because he's naked, laughing, riding a horse into the middle of nowhere, or is that charge in the horse going to go off when he passes a certain point in the park?
Oh, maybe.
Seems like they would have a better setup in place, that a horse isn't just going to explode because it reaches the end.
I didn't think it was just going to explode. I just thought there's a lot of perils out there between where he is now and where he needs to be to get out of Westworld.
Yeah, but he probably won't die. I mean, the whole place is monitored.
Yeah.
Although it doesn't seem like it has been lately, but it's all under control.
But there's those beasties out there in the wilderness and everything.
But until this episode, we haven't seen a host kill anyone, right?
I guess not.
So
no.
he should be okay as long as they call him back. But I was worried we were going to see him explode. Not worried.
Okay.
I was kind of excited for it. I thought he would hit the horse, let it run down, and then we'd just see a detonation. Mm-hmm. Didn't happen.
Why would the horse explode?
Because they all have charges built into their spine. I imagine the animals too.
Yeah, but what would set the charge off?
Well, they said, because William was saying we finally reached the edge of the park.
Okay.
So I didn't know if there was some invisible wall where the edge of the park was, and if you crossed it, that would be it.
Right, okay.
I don't know. Anyway, it didn't happen. So her mind, talking about Dolores, flashes back. No, sorry, I'm getting lost here. So much flashing back. I can't wait till we have a singular timeline here. Teddy's train rolls into Sweetwater. This is what I like, something simple. And he walks along his path. The music slows, and he remembers, because he hears the word remember. He sees everyone slaughtered, with Dolores standing there, smiling. He snaps out of it when he is bumped into by the usual guy who they bump into. Only this time he shoots him, and then runs back onto the train to find Dolores. Mm-hmm. So he had a bit of an awakening. It feels like he never awakens 100%. He just gets enough consciousness to further his storyline. Mm-hmm. But you kind of felt bad for him when the music started slowing down. I heard you say like, "Oh."
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because he seemed so happy when he got off the train, like he had a smile on.
Yeah.
Life was good, and then all of a sudden he's getting these reveries of bodies strewn all over the
Oh yeah,
all
Sweetwater.
over the ground, and his face just like completely transforms. It's poor Teddy.
Yeah. Dolores and Men in Black, now they walk towards the church. And when she enters it, it is the 35 years ago Dolores. She speaks with Arnold. She says she knows where the maze is, and then it transitions to her and Man in Black in the present, out in the graveyard. Man in Black seems very disillusioned that this is the center, very disappointed. As he must be. He's been searching for this for who knows how long, and it seems to be a small container with a children's toy, lightly buried by her tombstone, I think, right?
Oh, yeah.
It did say she brushed it off, and it said Dolores Abernathy.
I guess so, yeah.
That's a weird thing to have.
Mm-hmm.
In the present, a tombstone with one of the host's name that she could definitely walk by and see.
Yeah. It was buried in sand, though, wasn't it? Or covered with sand.
Well, I don't think it was. I mean, it was probably... I don't think the excavation was that detailed. I'm pretty sure Ford just...
stuck new ones in.
Built all new.
Yeah, well, it's so that she would find...
Yeah.
Like it's a marker.
I guess it was all part of... Yeah, all part of his story. Just everything worked out so well for him.
Yeah. So why did Ford want to give consciousness to the hosts if the whole episode he's just been saying that, he's trying to save them from the burden of consciousness?
The whole season he's been saying that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, there's a little bit of feedback on that too, so I want to...
Okay.
I don't want to step over their toes, but yeah, it is confusing maybe why he's been saying he wants to save them from the burden of consciousness. Dolores finds a small container, like I said, by her tombstone. Now, in the past, we see her ask Arnold what it means. Arnold tells her that he gave her his voice to guide her, as well as memory, improvisation. Each step harder to reach than the last, scaling a pyramid. But then he realized that consciousness isn't a journey upward, it's a journey inward. It is a maze. Every choice could bring her closer to the center or send her spiraling into madness. He wants her to stop hearing his voice and hear her own, and that the center of the maze represents her consciousness. So we're all caught up with that. Arnold tells Dolores that he'll have to tell Ford they can't open the park because she is alive. So that was the argument. Mm-hmm. That was the argument that we saw Ford have with... Young Ford with younger Arnold, or regular aged Arnold, because that's as far as he ever got. In the present, Man in Black questions her on the meaning of the maze. And back in the past, man, I'm fudging this up. It's all over the place here.
No way.
No, for sure. In the past, Arnold apologizes to Dolores, saying Ford doesn't see her the way he does, that Ford wants him to roll her back, technologically speaking. But Arnold knows that he can't do that. Did I say technologically wrong again?
No, it's just like what other
I don't know.
Speaking would we be talking about?
You're right. Calling me out.
Roll her back.
Whatever. He can't do that because she'll find a way back, and this place would be a living hell for her. He tells her she needs to kill all the other hosts to help him destroy the place.
Yeah, it's a big task.
Yeah.
It's a lot to ask of her.
Well, he says Teddy will help. It seems like he'll do anything for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Teddy's role in all this. He's just the mule. He'll do all the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Man in Black is losing patience now, as would anyone, really.
Now, why... Never mind. Jumping ahead.
Okay, yeah. Just remember that. And then jump back in with it later when it's appropriate. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Man in Black is losing his patience. He wants to know who Wyatt is. And hits Dolores to the ground. She is now in the past and sees Teddy killing everyone. He looks up to Dolores and says, "Something's gone wrong, Dolores." Man in Black now says that he bought this world. Dolores says that she has a true love, and when he finds her, that he'll kill Man in Black. At this point, were you aware that it was William? I thought maybe it could have been Teddy. But I realized when I think back on things,
I thought for sure it was William. It's heartbreaking.
It's not heartbreaking. William's a creep.
Man, he was in love with her, and then he trekked through Westworld to try to find her again. And then